Welcome to the Kelly Green Room, the show for Eagles fans and everybody else. My name is Jonah, and today I'm going over the Eagles' schedule game by game to see how many games they'll win and how many games they'll lose. Let's get right into it. So one perk of being the Super Bowl champion is that the Eagles get to open the season this year on Thursday Night Football for Week 1 against the Dallas Cowboys, and they get to raise the banner, which is so great. I'm so excited for that game. Can't come soon enough. And the Eagles playing the Cowboys at home. This feels like a very easy victory for me. The Eagles are a very strong running team and a very strong run defending team. The Cowboys are maybe the worst rushing team in all of football, and they don't have a good enough run defense to consistently stop Saquon Barkley unless they overcommit to it, and then Jalen Hurts will be able to dice them up with the pass as we saw in Super Bowl 59. The Eagles have a great matchup against the Cowboys here. I think Dak is pretty good. I think CeeDee Lamb's great, but Cooper DeJean has been really good against slot receivers. Quinyon Mitchell's doing well against the outside. The Cowboys simply do not have enough offensive firepower to stop the Eagles' number one defense from last year in terms of yards allowed. That's victory week 1. So after they face their rivals at home, the Eagles are going right to another team that is becoming a new rivalry. They're heading to Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City to play the Kansas City Chiefs. And now, this is going to be a very interesting game. Last year, the Eagles played the Chiefs in a crowd that was heavily Eagles fans. You could hear those Fly Eagles Fly chants coming from Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. This time, it's going to be more heavily Chiefs fans. It is a home game for the Chiefs, but I don't really think this matters. I think the Eagles have a plan and they will stick to it. If the Chiefs overcommit to the run, Jalen Hurts will be able to pass easily like he did in the Super Bowl. If the Chiefs overcommit to the pass, Saquon will wreak havoc. The Chiefs defense took a bit of a step back this offseason, although they did extend George Karlaftis, who's a very solid edge rusher. They kept Nick Bolton, they kept Trent McDuffie. So I think the Chiefs defense is still pretty good. Best part of their team. It's better than the offense in my opinion, but the Eagles are just too good of a team to be stopped by the Kansas City Chiefs. I think there are only a couple teams right now that are better than the Eagles or even on par with the Eagles in terms of roster, and I think the Eagles start 2-0 with a road win over the Chiefs. Week 3, they come back home to Lincoln Financial Field to play the LA Rams, and I think this is another victory. The Rams did not do much to beef up that defense that allowed Saquon Barkley to hit 4 home runs in only 2 games against them, runs over 50 plus yards. So they didn't do enough for that defense to prove to me that they will be able to stop the Eagles offense. And it won't be a snow game, it'll be in September. So I think the Eagles defense will be able to contain the Rams offense when they're not slipping all over the place. I think the snow was an excuse for the Rams on why they lost, but I think without snow, the Eagles will end up winning by even more, in fact. Week 4, the Eagles head to Tampa, where they actually always struggle. The Eagles cannot seem to beat the Bucs. The Bucs have their number in recent history with Tom Brady and now with Baker Mayfield. 2 losses to them in the past 2 years. So I think the Eagles lose this one. I think the Eagles drop to 3-1, and the Bucs, they usually beat the Eagles, especially when the Bucs are at home. I think the Bucs match up pretty well. They have a very fire-powered offense with Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, the new addition, Emeka Egbuka, Bucky Irving, Rashad White, Kate Otten, the list goes on. And the Bucs also have a deceptively strong offensive line, which could limit the Eagles' pass rush. So I think the Bucs are just able to outscore the Eagles in this game at home. I think the Eagles drop to 3-1. Week 5, the Eagles take on the Denver Broncos at home, and the Eagles usually win most of their games at home. I think this one is a loss, however. The Denver Broncos already had the best defense, or second best, third best, whatever, a great defense in the league last year, and they only added to it. They kept the Defensive Player of the Year, Patrick Surtain. They have their stars like Nick Bonito, Alex Singleton, Zach Allen, and they added Dre Greenlaw and Talanoa Hufanga, who aren't as good as they used to be, but they are still key, valuable pieces to a defense in 2025, and the Broncos are a fantastic defense. They will be able to stop the Eagles better than any other team that they face, and they'll be able to stop every team better than any other team because I project them out to be the best defense in the league. I think Bo Nix is set to take another step in 2025. He was a rookie last year. He's got a year under his belt. Sean Payton's a great head coach. Eagles don't often do too great against Sean Payton coached teams. I think the Broncos take this one. 3-2 for the Eagles after week 5. Week 6, the Eagles travel to MetLife Stadium to face the New York Giants, and this one is a win. The Giants have a very top-heavy defense where they have a couple stars like Dexter Lawrence, Abdul Carter, they have Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, but those guys are not the entire team. A couple players are not the entire defense. I think the Eagles will be able to dice up the Giants, and with that rotating quarterback room, they have Russell Wilson, Jameis, and Jackson Dart. I think there's no way the Giants will be able to take it to the Eagles on defense. They might have a bit of trouble scoring on offense against that really good pass rush and defensive line, but I think the Eagles will be able to figure it out, especially against the Giants' weak secondary. That is a win. 4-2 after week 6. Okay, the Eagles travel to Minneapolis to face the Vikings in week 7, and I think the Vikings, another team that has a really strong defense, I think the Eagles do fall in this one. Vikings have a good home field advantage as well, but that doesn't really matter too much. Not as much as it would if the game were in Philly. Eagles have one of the best home field advantages in the league, and I think the Vikings defense is just really good. They have a great defensive defensive coordinator, Brian Flores, and the offense looks pretty good as well. They obviously have Justin Jefferson, who I like. Quinyon Mitchell a lot. He's one of the best corners in the NFL, but what corner is not going to have some trouble guarding Justin Jefferson? I think the Vikings match up with the Eagles pretty well. I would have been afraid to face them in the playoffs last year just because of how strong their defense was and the amount of skilled players they have on offense. I think the Eagles do lose this one in Minneapolis. Okay, week 8, back to the New York Giants, but this time at home, the Eagles will sweep the Giants very early into the season. The Giants are not there yet. They just drafted their quarterback, who they're hoping is their franchise quarterback, but the Eagles just have too much firepower. The Eagles just won the Super Bowl, and the Giants just got the 3rd overall pick. I think it is very clear the Philadelphia Eagles will take this one. So, going into the bye, the Philadelphia Eagles will be 5-3. Not as great of a start as you want, but last year the Eagles also really picked it up after the bye. They were 2-2 going to last year's bye, and they finished the season as the 2 seed in the NFC and winning their division. I think the Eagles have the ability to do the exact same thing this year. Week 10, they go to Green Bay to play the Packers, who have started a little bit of trouble with the Philadelphia Eagles recently, trying to ban the tush push. I don't think the Packers are a good enough team to beat the Philadelphia Eagles right now. The Packers are very well-rounded. They have a bunch of good wide receivers, but no one who's that true elite wide receiver who can defeat Quinyon Mitchell in one-on-one coverage. I think Jordan Love is very good. He has a bit of a problem with turnovers, looking like vintage Brett Favre, looking like vintage Aaron Rodgers sometimes when he's playing well, but I think the Packers are just not a good enough team to defeat the Philadelphia Eagles. Week 11, another NFC North team, the Detroit Lions. They will travel to Lincoln Financial Field, and the Lions are a really good team, but right now I am not super confident in the Detroit Lions. I don't think they're going to win their division. I think that the offensive and defensive coordinator change will actually mean a lot to this team. Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn became head coaches this offseason. The Lions had to replace them. I think the Eagles win this one. Lions defense isn't very strong, and I think in a game that goes offense to offense, the Eagles defense will be able to stop the Lions offense more than vice versa, the Lions defense stopping the Eagles offense. Week 12, back to the rivalries in the NFC East. The Dallas Cowboys, the Philadelphia Eagles will defeat the Dallas Cowboys and sweep them for the 2nd straight year. Like I said, Cowboys have no rushing attack, no rushing defense. The Philadelphia Eagles have the exact opposite. The two probably strongest areas of their team. I think the Philadelphia Eagles take this one with ease and sweep their division rivals. Week 13, the Chicago Bears come to town, and the Philadelphia Eagles are going to take this one. The Bears look to be a pretty solid team this year. They made a lot of offseason acquisitions and additions, especially on the coaching side with Ben Johnson, but the Eagles are just a more developed team right now. In a couple years, come back to me when Caleb Williams is in his prime, and we'll see. So that's a 4-game win streak coming out of the bye, but this next week I have a loss against the LA Chargers. I think you'll see a common theme with the teams that I have the Eagles losing to this year, and that is strong defenses, other than the Tampa Bay Bucks because they always have the Eagles number. But the Vikings, the Broncos, and the Chargers all have strong defenses, and I think the Eagles will struggle a little bit against those really great defenses. The Chargers have a lot more firepower than some people are giving them credit for, with Ladd McConkey, Justin Herbert, Omarion Hampton, and I think they will be able to defeat the Eagles at home, and they will bring the Eagles wins win streak to an end. The Eagles had to lose one eventually, and I think the Chargers, with their amazing defense and Jim Harbaugh, I think that they will be the team to knock off the Eagles right now. Moving on to week 15 against the Raiders, that is an easy win. The Philadelphia Eagles are just a more developed team than the Raiders. They do have some great weapons on offense like Ashton Jeanty and Brock Bowers, but the Eagles are equipped to deal with them pretty easily. Week 16 at Washington Commanders. Like I said in a video that I did earlier, I don't think the Washington Commanders are going to be as good as they were last year, and I think the Eagles win this one. They would have beaten the Commanders last year in the regular season. They would have gone 3-0 against the Commanders last season if Jalen Hurts had not gotten injured in that game, and I think they will take it to the Commanders this year and show them who is boss in the NFC East. Week 17, the Buffalo Bills. I think the Eagles do take this one. The Bills are a very good team, but so are the Eagles. They're defending champs, and I think even though Josh Allen is a regular season warrior, Jalen Hurts has done really well against the Buffalo Bills and great teams in the NFL, and I think the Eagles will be able to take this one in a close one. Even when the Eagles were not a good team last season before the Super Bowl victory and they were in the middle of their collapse, Jalen Hurts was able to carry the game against the Buffalo Bills. The Eagles have gotten better. The Buffalo Bills have mostly stayed the same. I think the Birds take this one. So the final week of the season, week 18, Commanders come to town. The Eagles are not going to lose this one. I don't think that it will have anything to do with the division. I think the Eagles will already have locked it up, but I think it will have some 1-seed implications, and the Eagles will play Jalen Hurts and the starters, and they will get the victory. The Commanders, a very old team, and I don't think that they will be as good as last year. I think it may have been a bit of a flash in the pan for Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. I think they're good, but I don't think they're that good where they could be another really great contender in the NFC. So that's it. I have the Eagles going 13-4 with losses to only the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Minnesota Vikings, the Denver Broncos, and the LA Chargers. Let me know what you think about these predictions. And the Eagles have a pretty hard schedule this year, so I may have been a little bit optimistic with predicting them to go 13-4. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This has been the Kelly Green Room. My name is Jonah. Make sure to leave a subscribe and a like because it really helps me a lot. And I will see you guys next time.